The rain hammered the window like it had a grudge against the city, turning Seattle into a blurred watercolor of neon and regret. I was halfway through a lukewarm beer, staring at the TV's glow without seeing it, when the door rattled open with a force that shook the cheap frame. Tyler's voice cut through the downpour first, slurred and frantic. "Finn, help me with this idiot. He's heavier than he looks." Hunter Brooks hit the floor before I could stand, his broad shoulders crumpling like a felled oak, whiskey breath fogging the air as his head lolled against my bare foot. Those hazel eyes, cracked open just enough to lock on mine, weren't pleading. They were daring me to look away, even as the world spun out from under him. I froze there on the edge of the couch, my sockless foot pinned under the weight of Hunter's temple, the heat of his skin seeping through like a secret I wasn't ready to keep. Tyler was still fumbling with the keys in the lock, cursing under his breath about another bar crawl gone south. But I couldn't tear my gaze from Hunter's face. Up close like this, sprawled in our cramped living room like he'd been dropped from the storm clouds themselves. He looked less like the invincible older brother Tyler idolized and more like a man unraveling at the seams. His dark hair was slicked back from the rain, clinging to his forehead in defiant curls, and a fresh bruise bloomed purple along his jawline, probably from whatever dive bar had finally 86'd him tonight. "Jesus, Finn, don't just sit there," Tyler grunted, kicking the door shut with his heel. He was my roommate of 2 years, the kind of guy who turned every crisis into a half-joking anecdote by morning. 24. Lanky with that perpetual 5 o'clock shadow that made him look like a grad student who'd majored in caffeine. Tyler Brooks was the glue holding our shoebox apartment in Capitol Hill together. Rent was split 50-50. Chores rotated like a bad game of rock, paper, scissors, and we'd both sworn off drama after one too many heartbreak stories swapped over late-night takeout. But Hunter was the wild card, the ghost who haunted our couch every few months, turning our routine into something electric and terrifying. I shifted my leg free, careful not to jostle him too much, and knelt down. What happened this time? My voice came out steadier than I felt, but inside, my pulse was a drum solo, thudding against my ribs like it remembered the last time he'd crashed here, 3 months back, when he'd woken up at dawn and fixed me pancakes with a grin that lingered in my dreams for weeks. Tyler shrugged off his soaked jacket, flinging it over the armchair that doubled as my reading nook. Water pooled on the hardwood, mixing with the faint scent of his cologne, something woodsy and cheap from the drugstore. Same old, work stress, ex-girlfriend drama. You know Hunter thinks drowning it in bourbon fixes everything. He crouched beside me, hooking his arms under his brother's shoulders. On 3. 1, 2. We hauled him up together, Hunter's dead weight sagging between us like a shared burden. He was taller than Tyler by a good 4 inches, built solid from years of construction gigs and weekend hikes in the Cascades. But tonight he felt fragile, his breath ragged and hot against my neck as we maneuvered him toward the couch. I caught a whiff of his cologne. Real cologne, the kind that evoked pine forests and open roads, and it hit me like a gut punch. Why did he always smell like home? Like the kind of place I'd never been allowed to stay. We dumped him onto the cushions with a muffled thud, and Hunter mumbled something incoherent, his hand flopping out to grip my wrist for a split second before going limp. His fingers were calloused, rough from swinging hammers and gripping steering wheels, and the touch lingered like a brand even after he let go. Tyler straightened up, wiping his hands on his jeans. "Thanks, man. Oh, you won. Beer's on me tomorrow." I nodded, forcing a laugh that sounded too tight in the dim light. "Yeah, sure. Just don't let him puke on the rug again." It was our ritual, this deflection, joking about the mess to ignore the undercurrent. But as Tyler shuffled toward the kitchen for water and aspirin, I lingered, pulling a throw blanket over Hunter's legs. His shirt had ridden up in the shuffle, exposing a sliver of tanned skin above his belt, marked by a faint scar that snaked toward his hip. I wondered, not for the first time, what story it held. A bar fight? A childhood accident? Or something deeper like the ones he never told? By the time Tyler returned, juggling a glass and a bottle of pills, Hunter was snoring softly, the rain outside softening to a steady patter. We stood there for a moment, two brothers' shadows in the half-light, and Tyler clapped my shoulder. "You're a saint, Finn. Seriously. Most guys would have bailed by now." I shrugged it off, but his words twisted something in my chest. Saint. That's what they always called me. The reliable one. The friend who listened without judgment. The guy who kept his secrets buried deeper than Seattle's underground streets. Growing up in a suburb of Tacoma, where Sundays meant church potlucks and whispers about that phase my cousin went through, I'd learned early to armor up. Dad was a high school football coach, all gruff affection and unspoken rules. Mom baked apple pies and pretended the rainbow flag on my dorm room poster was just artistic expression. Coming out at 18 had been a quiet detonation. No fireworks, just a long exhale over lukewarm coffee. They loved me, sure. But love like that came with conditions, like a lease you renewed year after year, hoping the cracks wouldn't widen. Tyler crashed in his room shortly after, muttering about an early shift at the coffee shop. I lingered in the living room, pretending to scroll through my phone, but my eyes kept drifting back to Hunter. The TV droned on some true crime docuseries, voices overlapping in urgent whispers, but all I heard was the rhythm of his breathing. Why did he unsettle me like this? He was straight as the I-5 corridor, or at least that's what Tyler's stories painted him as. Endless parade of girlfriends, bar hookups, the occasional wild night that ended in regret. Hunter was 28, 5 years into a life that looked picture-perfect from afar. Foreman on a crew building eco-homes in Ballard, a truck that roared like thunder, and that easy charisma that made strangers buy him drinks. But up close, in the quiet hours when the city's hum faded, I saw the fractures. The way his laugh never quite reached his eyes. The calls from their mom in Portland, voice cracking over speakerphone about getting his act together. I should have gone to bed. My shift at the bookstore started at 9, shelving romance novels for housewives who blushed at the covers. But sleep was a lost cause with him here, his presence filling the room like smoke. Instead, I grabbed my sketch pad from the coffee table, a battered moleskine filled with half-formed faces and rainy skylines, and settled into the armchair. The pencil scratched softly, capturing the angle of his jaw, the way his lashes fanned against his cheeks. It wasn't art. It was confession, lines bleeding into the page like the storm outside. Hours slipped by, the clock ticking past 2 a.m. Hunter stirred once, mumbling sorry, kid without opening his eyes, and I nearly dropped the pad. Kid. That's all I was to him. Tyler's sidekick, the roommate who picked up the slack. But in that hazy border between wakefulness and dream, his hand twitched toward mine again, fingers brushing the armrest as if reaching for an anchor. I held my breath, waiting for the pull, the spark that would ignite everything I'd been burying since the first time he crashed here last summer. It didn't come. He rolled away, burrowing into the cushions, and the moment shattered. I closed the sketchpad, heart pounding with a mix of relief and ache, and finally dragged myself to my room. The door clicked shut behind me, but the rain kept falling, washing the city clean while I lay awake, staring at the ceiling cracks that mapped out my unspoken wants like constellations. Morning broke gray and unforgiving, the kind of Seattle dawn that promised coffee but delivered drizzle. I emerged from my room in sweats and a faded mariner's hoodie, the scent of Tyler's French press already curling through the air. He was at the stove, scrambling eggs with one hand while scrolling emails on his phone with the other. Classic multitasker, even hungover. Morning sunshine, he said, not looking up. Hunter's still out cold. Think he hit his limit last night. I poured myself a mug, black and scalding, and leaned against the counter. The living room came into view. Hunter sprawled like a king on his threadbare throne, one arm flung over his eyes. He'd kicked off the blanket in the night, his legs tangled in jeans that hugged his thighs just enough to make my throat dry. Yeah, I managed. Looks like it. Tyler slid a plate my way, eggs piled high with cheese and salsa, his apology breakfast specialty. We ate in companionable silence for a bit, the clink of forks the only sound over the low hum of the fridge. That's when Tyler dropped it, casual as stirring sugar. Hey, speaking of, Hunter's sticking around a couple days. Got some family stuff in town. Needs a place to lay low. Cool with you? My fork paused midair. Couple days. Not hours, not an overnight blur. Days of him padding around in boxers and bare feet, stealing my cereal and filling the bathroom with steam from hot showers. Days of stolen glances and accidental brushes, of lying awake while the couch creaked under his weight. Sure, I said, forcing nonchalance. No problem.
Mi casa es su casa, right?
Tyler grinned, oblivious. You're the best, dude. He rinsed his plate, then wandered over to nudge Hunter's boot with his toe. Rise and shine. Bro world's not ending. Hunter groaned, peeling his arm away to squint at us. His voice was gravel and smoke, rough from the night. What time is it? Early enough for regret. Tyler shot back, tossing him the aspirin bottle. I busied myself with the dishes, suds bubbling up to my elbows, but I felt his eyes on me. The slow sweep from my hunched shoulders to the damp hair curling at my nape. When he spoke, it was directed at Tyler, but the warmth in it wrapped around me too. Finn, thanks for last night. Oh, you. I glanced over my shoulder, meeting that hazel gaze for a beat too long. Up close in daylight, he was even more disarming. Stubble shadowing his cheeks, a faint tattoo peeking from his sleeve, some tribal knot I'd never asked about. Any time, I replied, and meant it more than he could know. The day unfolded in lazy fragments. Tyler headed to work, leaving us to the apartment's rhythm. Hunter showered first, emerging in a towel that slung low on his hips, water droplets tracing paths down his chest that I pretended not to notice while pretending to read on my phone. He rummaged through Tyler's closet for clothes, a too-tight tee that stretched across his shoulders, jeans that fit like they'd been broken in just for him. Mind if I borrow these? He asked, and I shook my head, words lodged somewhere in my chest. We ended up at the corner diner, the one with vinyl booths cracked like old smiles and coffee that could strip paint. Hunter insisted on treating, sliding into the seat across from me with a menu he barely glanced at. Tyler's lucky, he said after the waitress poured our mugs. Having a guy like you around keeps him grounded. I stirred in cream, watching the swirls dissolve. He's easy to live with, mostly. A pause. Then, what about you? What's got you crashing in the city this time? His fingers drummed the table, a habit I'd noticed before. Like Morse code for thoughts he couldn't voice. Work's slow, and mom's on my case again. Thinks I need to settle down. He air-quoted with a wry smile, but his eyes darkened. Like that's the cure for everything. I nodded, recognizing the echo in my own life, the pressure to fit molds that chafed. Families, huh? Always know best. We talked then, easy at first, about the Mariners' losing streak, the best hiking trails off the beaten path, the way Seattle's fog made everything feel like a dream you couldn't wake from. But under it, currents pulled. His laugh when I admitted sketching on napkins, the way his knee bumped mine under the table and didn't pull away. By the time we wandered back through Pike Place, dodging tourists and the salty tang of fish markets, the air between us hummed with possibility. That night, as thunder rolled in from the sound, Hunter claimed the couch again. Tyler crashed early, buried in spreadsheets for some freelance gig, and I lay in bed, the walls thin enough to hear every shift of fabric, every sigh. Sleep evaded me, chased away by the what-ifs stacking like storm clouds. What if I crossed the room? What if his hand found mine in the dark? What if he pushed me away, shattering the fragile peace we'd built? The clock glowed 1:47 when the creak came, soft, deliberate. Footsteps padded across the floor, pausing outside my door. I held my breath, heart slamming, but they retreated, back to the couch, back to safety. But safety felt like a cage, and in the quiet aftermath, I wondered how long I could keep pretending the bars weren't closing in. The next morning brought a fragile truce with the weather, a sliver of blue sky peeking through the clouds, as if the city had decided to breathe for once. I woke to the sizzle of bacon from the kitchen, Tyler's domain on weekends, but it was Hunter's low chuckle that pulled me from the sheets. Rubbing sleep from my eyes, I shuffled out in boxers and a threadbare tee, the cool air raising goosebumps on my arms. There they were, brothers shoulder to shoulder at the stove. Tyler flipping strips with theatrical flair, Hunter leaning against the counter, arms crossed, that easy grin splitting his face as he recounted some half-remembered story from their teens. And then Dad walks in, covered in mud from the garden, yelling about the truck keys being in the ignition the whole time. Hunter finished, his voice warm with the glow of nostalgia. Tyler snorted, nearly dropping the spatula, and for a moment, the kitchen felt like a time capsule. Two Brooks boys, unbreakable, with me as the outsider peeking through the glass. "Morning," I mumbled, sliding onto a stool. Hunter's eyes flicked to me first, holding just a second longer than neutral, and I felt exposed, like he'd seen the sketches I'd hidden under my mattress. "Sleep okay?" he asked, pouring me coffee without waiting for an answer. His fingers brushed mine on the mug. Accidental, featherlight, and I nearly spilled it, heat flooding my cheeks. "Yeah, you, lies." I tossed until the sky lightened, replaying that doorway pause like a loop in my head. He shrugged, settling beside me with his own cup. "Couch isn't half bad. Beats the cab fares back to Ballard." Tyler plated the food then, bacon crisp and eggs sunny side up, and we ate like a unit, banter flowing around me. But under the table, Hunter's knee pressed against mine again. Steady this time, not shifting away. I froze, fork hovering, every nerve alight. Was it nothing, or was it the start of something that could ruin us all? "You draw a lot?" Hunter asked out of nowhere, snapping a twig underfoot. I startled had he seen the pad, but played it cool. "Here and there. Helps with the noise in my head." I kicked a pebble, watching it skitter ahead. "You? Ever try anything creative? Or is it all blueprints and power tools?" He laughed, low and self-deprecating. "Tried guitar once. Mom's old acoustic. Sounded like a dying cat." A pause, his gaze on the path. "Truth is, I envy that. Making something from nothing. My world's all straight lines and deadlines." We crested a hill then, the view unfolding. Ferries cutting white wakes, the Olympics hazy on the horizon. Tyler hooped from ahead, waving us on, but Hunter stopped, hands in pockets, wind ruffling his hair. "Finn, about last night. The door." "I wasn't." "It's fine." I cut in, too quick, heart jackhammering. "No big deal." But he turned, eyes searching mine, and the words hung unfinished. "It is, though. You're a good guy. Don't want to complicate things." Complicate. The word landed like a stone in still water, ripples spreading. I wanted to ask what he meant, what lines he was towing, what fears gripped him in the dark. Instead, I nodded and we caught up to Tyler, the moment dissolving into jokes about blisters and bad maps. Back at the apartment by dusk, the high faded into domestic hum. Tyler ordered pizza, extra pepperoni, no pineapple heresy, and we sprawled in the living room, a Mariners game flickering on the screen. Hunter claimed the couch's arm, legs stretched long, and I curled in the armchair, sketchpad balanced on my knee like a shield. Tyler dozed midway through the third inning, head lolled back, snores rumbling like distant thunder. The room dimmed as Hunter killed the overhead light, leaving only the TV's blue wash. "Can't sleep with that glare," he murmured, and I nodded, pencil scratching idly. A tree from the trail, branches twisting like veins. But my eyes strayed to him, the way shadows carved his profile, the subtle rise and fall of his chest. "Tell me something real," he said suddenly, voice pitched low. "Not the polished stuff. What keeps you up?" I hesitated, graphite hovering. "Honesty or deflection?" "Fears mostly, the ones you can't outrun." A beat, like wondering if you'll ever fit where you're supposed to. His gaze met mine across the space, intense in the half-light. "Yeah, that hits." He shifted, elbow on knee, chin in hand. For me, it's failure. Letting down the people who count on you. Dad died when Tyler was 15, cancer, quick and ugly. I stepped up, or tried to. Foreman by 23, keeping the roof over Mom's head. But some days, feels like I'm just patching leaks in a sinking ship. The confession hung heavy, raw edges exposed. I set the pad aside, leaning forward. That's not failure. That's carrying more than most could. He looked away, jaw tight. Maybe, but it leaves you hollow. Chasing highs to fill the gaps, booze, women, the road. Never sticks. Women. The word sliced, a reminder of boundaries. But his eyes, when they returned to mine, held no walls, just weariness, and something softer, like an invitation. What about you, Finn? What's your hollow? I swallowed, the truth bubbling up unbidden. Hiding. From family, from myself. Came out in college, but it's like permission granted, but the map's still blank. My voice cracked on the last, vulnerability spilling like ink. Hunter nodded slowly, no judgment in the tilt of his head. Brave as hell. Takes guts to redraw your own lines. He reached then, hand extending across the gap. Not touching, but close enough to bridge it. Thanks for listening. Means something. The game droned on, score tied, but the real tension coiled between us. Tyler stirred once, mumbling about a foul ball, and we pulled back, the air charged. Later, as I brushed teeth in the bathroom mirror, Hunter's reflection ghosted behind me in the hall. Towel over shoulder, eyes lingering. Night, Finn, he said, voice husky. Night. I watched him go, the couch swallowing him whole, and wondered if bravery meant leaping or holding steady. The following day blurred into errands and avoidance. Tyler dragged us to the Fremont market, stalls bursting with handmade soaps and street art, the air alive with buskers strumming covers of Fleetwood Mac. Hunter bartered for a leather bracelet. Simple braid, no frills, and slipped it on my wrist when Tyler turned to haggle over vintage records. Fits you, he said, thumb grazing my pulse point, sending sparks up my arm. I wore it like a talisman, the knot pressing into my skin as we wandered. Conversations deepened in stolen moments. His love for old jazz records, my obsession with noir films. The scar on his hip from a roofing fall at 20, my faded burn from a 4th of July mishap. Tyler noticed nothing, too wrapped in his own orbit. But the undercurrent grew. Brushes in crowds, shared glances over falafel wraps. Evening brought rain again, relentless sheets blurring the windows. We cooked pasta with Tyler's secret sauce, heavy on garlic, and the kitchen steamed with laughter, wine loosening tongues. Hunter's stories turned poignant. Summers fishing off the San Juans with their dad, lessons in tying flies and tying off regrets. He'd say, "Son, life's a current. Ride it, don't fight." His voice softened, eyes distant. Missed that. Tyler clinked glasses, toasting absent ghosts. But I saw the crack in Hunter's armor, the way he gripped the stem too tight. After dinner, Tyler begged off for a call with his girlfriend in Portland, leaving us to clean up. Suds foamed as I scrubbed, Hunter drying beside me, shoulders nearly touching. "You're quiet tonight," he noted, towel pausing on a plate. "Just soaking it in." I rinsed a glass, water cascading. "Your family's real. Messy, but real." He bumped my hip with his playful deflection. "Yours." I hesitated, sponge squeezing out truth. "Dad's proud. In his way, coaches kids, preaches teamwork. Mom sends care packages with notes about finding the right path. They know about me, but it's surface. No dives." Hunter set the plate aside, turning fully. "That sucks. You deserve depths." His hand found my shoulder, squeeze firm, eyes locking with an intensity that stole breath. Time stretched, the rain a curtain around us, and I leaned in just a fraction, testing the pull. The door clicked, Tyler returning, and we sprang apart, plates clattering. Casual chatter resumed, but the charge lingered, electric under skin. That night, sleep fractured again. Hunter's footsteps padded past my door at midnight, then back. I rose, barefoot on cold floor, cracking the door to peer out. He sat on the couch, head in hands, silhouette etched by streetlight. "Can't shut it off," he whispered when he sensed me, not looking up. I crossed the room, perching on the coffee table. "Want company?" A nod. We talked in murmurs. Fears of 40 looming empty, dreams deferred for duty. His hand found mine in the dark, fingers lacing tentative, and I didn't pull away. Warmth spread, a quiet anchor, until his grip slackened, sleep claiming him. I lingered, thumb tracing his knuckles, then retreated, the bracelet a reminder on my wrist. But in bed the hollow widened. What were we building here, bridge or trap? And when it gave, who would fall? Sunday dawned with a vengeance, the sky cracking open to dump sheets of rain that turned the streets into rivers. Tyler bailed on brunch plans, holing up with hoodies and video games, leaving Hunter and me to fend for ourselves in the downpour. "Go get bagels," he yelled from his room, controller clicking furiously. "My treat, there's cash in the jar." Hunter grinned, shrugging into his jacket, a worn denim thing that smelled of sawdust and him. "You heard the man. Adventure calls." His eyes sparkled with mischief, chasing away the shadows from last night's confessions, and I couldn't say no. Not when he held out my raincoat like a dare, fingers lingering on the collar. We dashed 2 blocks to the bakery, umbrellas forgotten, laughter bubbling as puddles splashed our calves. Inside, the air was thick with yeast and cinnamon, steam fogging the windows like breath on glass. Hunter ordered everything: sesame, poppy, a half-dozen blues with lox, his arm brushing mine at the counter, casual but constant. We ate on the stoop under the awning, knees touching, rain drumming a rhythm that matched my pulse. "Tell me about the sketches," he said around a mouthful of cream cheese, wiping his mouth with the back of his hand. No preamble, like he'd been mulling it since the park. I nearly choked on my bagel. "What sketches?" He smirked, hazel eyes narrowing. "Saw you doodling the other night. Trees, faces, good stuff. Don't play coy." Heat crept up my neck, but his tone was genuine. No mockery. Just messing around. Helps process everything. I gestured vaguely at the storm-swept street. "This city's got layers. Figured I'd peel some." He nodded, leaning back against the wall, legs stretched into the rain's edge. "Show me sometime? Bet you've got me in there somewhere." Hungover and heroic. The image flashed. Pencil lines of his sleeping form, vulnerable and vast, and I laughed to cover the flush. "Maybe, if you say pretty please." "Deal." His foot nudged mine, playful, but his gaze held steady, delving deeper. "Seriously, though, art's brave. Putting your guts on paper. Wish I had that outlet." "You do?" I countered, emboldened by the carbs and caffeine. "The way you build, turning chaos into homes. That's creation." He looked at me then, really looked, the kind of stare that stripped pretenses. "When'd you get so wise, kid?" The endearment stung sweet, a hook in soft flesh. 22 going on ancient. Blame the books. We lingered until the rain eased to mist, then wandered back, arms laden with bags, detouring through alleys strung with fairy lights. Early for the holidays, but Seattle loved its whimsy. Hunter's stories flowed freer. A botched proposal to an ex in Vegas, neon signs blurring the regret. Summers hauling hay on their uncle's farm in eastern Washington, dust in lungs and freedom in the wide sky. I shared fragments. My first crush on a theater kid in high school, stolen kisses behind the auditorium. The ache of Dad's awkward hug post coming out, words failing where arms tried. By the time we tumbled into the apartment, soaked and starving again, Tyler was mid-rant about lag spikes, pausing only to raid the bagels. The afternoon melted into movies. Hunter's Pick, a gritty indie about lost boys in the Midwest, all longing glances and unspoken aches. We piled on the couch, Tyler bookending one side, me the other, Hunter in the middle like a magnet. His thigh pressed warm against mine through denim, unyielding, and when the film's tension peaked, a kiss stolen in a rain-lashed barn, his breath hitched, mirroring mine. Intense, he muttered post-credits, not moving. Tyler stretched, oblivious, heading for a nap. Yeah, hits close. Alone then, the room shrank, air thickening. Hunter turned, face inches from mine, water still dripping from his hair. Finn, that night by the door. I wanted to. A knock shattered it. Tyler, forgetting his charger. Hunter pulled back, jaw clenched, and the moment vaporized. But the residue clung, sticky and insistent. Evening brought a shift, subtle as fog rolling in. Tyler's girlfriend called, voice tinny through the speaker, plans for a visit bubbling. Hunter listened with half a smile, but his eyes kept finding mine across the dinner table. Spaghetti tangled like nerves. After, as Tyler paced the kitchen spilling details, Hunter cornered me in the hall. Walk with me? Need air. We slipped out into the twilight, hoods up against the chill, weaving Capitol Hill's sidewalks alive with bar hoppers and dog walkers. The Space Needle pierced the clouds like a needle in fog, and Hunter's pace slowed, shoulders loosening. Tyler's solid, he started, hands shoved deep in pockets. But being around him stirs shit up, reminds me of what I should have been. I glanced sidelong, street lamps gilding his profile. You are, for him, for your mom, not enough. His voice roughened, edged with bourbon ghosts. Pushed too hard after dad. Dates, jobs, the whole script. But lately, feels off, like I'm acting a part. My heart stuttered, echoes of my own masks. Then rewrite it. No one's grading. He stopped under a dripping oak, turning to face me. Rain-pattered leaves, a private curtain. Easier said. What if the new lines scare everyone off? Including you? The question slipped out, bold and bare. His eyes darkened, conflict swirling. Especially. A step closer, the space between us humming. His hand rose, hesitating at my jaw, thumb ghosting my cheekbone. Breath mingled, warm and whiskey-tinged, and I tilted in, lips parting on a whisper. The kiss was inevitable. A crash of thunder held too long. Soft at first, testing, tentative, then deepening, his mouth hot and urgent against mine, stubble rasping like truth. Hands found waists, pulling flush, the world narrowing to pulse and press. He tasted of salt and want, a low groan vibrating from his chest as tongues met, exploratory and fierce. We broke gasping, foreheads pressed, rain slicking our faces. Fuck, he breathed, hand cupping my neck. Finn, don't, I murmured, chasing his lips again, softer now, sealing the fracture. But doubt flickered in his eyes, a shadow lengthening. Back home, the apartment loomed accusatory. Tyler was out. Quick run to the store, and Hunter paced the living room, running hands through damp hair. It's messed up. Tyler is my friend, I finished, sinking onto the couch. Not my keeper. And you're not breaking anything by feeling. He dropped beside me, head in hands. I've never, with a guy, thought it was just curiosity, buried deep. But it's like you've unlocked something I didn't know was chained. The admission cracked me open, tender and terrifying. I shifted, hand on his knee. Then let's dine it slow. No scripts. We talked until Tyler's key rattled the lock. Whispers of boundaries, promises of discretion. He crashed on the couch that night, but his hand found mine in the dark, fingers linking over the armrest. Sleep came fitful, dreams tangled with oak leaves and hazel eyes, the kiss replaying in technicolor. Monday hit like a hangover, work pulling us apart. I shelved paperbacks at the bookstore, fingers lingering on spines of forbidden loves, queer histories, romances with hard-won happily ever afters, while Hunter texted sporadically, "Miss the rain with you, thinking about that barn scene." Emojis, Tentative bridges. Evening reunion was charged. Tyler oblivious, heating leftovers, while Hunter's gaze burned across the table, foot hooking my ankle under cloth. After dinner, as Tyler scrolled dating apps, laughing at profiles, Hunter mouthed, "Balcony." We slipped out, city lights sprawling below, air crisp with exhaust and evergreens. There, against the railing, he kissed me again. Surer, hungrier, hands roaming backs and hips. "Can't stop," he growled between presses, nipping my lip. I arched into him, nails digging cotton, the world a distant hum. But midway he stilled, pulling back with a curse. "Tyler, if he knew, he will," I said breathless. "And it'll hurt, but hiding hurts more." Hunter's face crumpled, conflict etching lines. "Give me time, please." I nodded, but the seed of doubt rooted, time as ally or executioner. The week blurred, stolen moments stacking like kindling. Morning coffee touches, late-night balcony confessions. Hunter opened more. Bisexual flickers in college, suppressed under macho crews. The ex who called him confused, walking out mid-fight. I shared my scars, rejection texts from Tacoma boys, dad's silence at pride parades. Bonds tightened, but so did the noose of secrecy. Friday night tipped it. Tyler planned a bar crawl, neighborhood dives, cheap drafts. Hunter hesitated, eyes on me. "Come," he murmured while Tyler showered. Wouldn't miss, but unease gnawed. Public lines blurred risks. The first bar was loud, foamy-headed locals cheering a jukebox ballad. Hunter stuck close, arms slung casual over my shoulders for balance. Breath hot on my ear. Tyler bought rounds, toasting to brothers and bastards. Oblivious to the undercurrent. At the second spot, a dim pool hall with sticky floors, things frayed. A guy at the bar, burly with a beard like Briar, clapped Hunter's back. "Brooks, long time. Who's the arm candy?" Hunter stiffened, arm dropping. "Just a friend. Finn." The guy leered, eyes raking. "Lucky friend." Laughter rippled, crude edges. Hunter laughed it off, but tension coiled. Shots flowed, loosening tongues, and soon he was at the table, recounting crew stories, veiled in bro code, but laced with glances my way. Tyler buzzed, slung an arm around me. "Finn's the real MVP. Keeps us sane." Hunter's jaw ticked, jealousy flashing raw. Later, in the alley smoke break, he pinned me against brick, kiss bruising. "Mine," he growled, possessive and pained. But inside, Tyler cornered him, slurred words about vibes off. Hunter deflected, but seeds planted. Home late, Tyler crashed hard. Hunter followed me to my room, door ajar, a line crossed. We tumbled to sheets, hands exploring, clothes shedding in whispers. His body was maps of muscle and scars, mine yielding under calluses. Kisses trailed necks, gasps muffled in pillows. The rain outside a symphony to our rhythm. It was revelation. Slow, sacred, him inside me with a reverence that broke us both. After tangled and spent, he traced my bracelet. It's real." I kissed his temple. "Yeah." But dawn brought reality. Tyler's knock, pancakes, casual. Hunter slipped out, disheveled, and over breakfast, his eyes avoided mine, guilt shadowing. That afternoon, alone, he pulled me aside. "Last night, incredible, but we gotta slow." For him, hurt lanced, but I nodded. Slow, survivable. Yet the fracture widened, unspoken. The weekend after our first full night together felt like walking a tightrope over the Sound. Exhilarating, but one gust from disaster. Hunter extended his stay, citing crew delays. But the real delay was us. Stolen hours when Tyler worked doubles, bodies rediscovering each other in the quiet of my room. Mornings, he'd slip back to the couch before dawn, rumpled and secretive, leaving my sheets scented with him. We'd text feverishly during the day, Him from job sites dusty with drywall. Me from the bookstore's hushed aisles. Fragments of poetry disguised as memes. Your laugh's my new blueprint. Plot twist. You're the plot. But secrecy bred shadows. Tyler started noticing. The way Hunter's eyes tracked me across rooms. The lingering hugs that stretched too long. You two bonding or what? He'd joke, clapping our backs. But his brow furrowed, questions unspoken. I deflected with laughs, blaming bro time. But guilt gnawed, a slow acid on our stolen bliss. Monday brought the storm's aftermath. Skies cleared to a brittle blue, but tension thickened indoors. Hunter's phone buzzed incessantly. Mom, crew leads, an ex named Riley whose texts dripped honeyed barbs. Miss you, H, drink soon? He showed me once, thumb hovering delete, eyes stormy. Old habit. Won't answer. Shouldn't have to, I said, kissing his knuckles. But doubt whispered. Was I just the new curiosity, a phase to file away? Work that week was sanctuary and torture. Shelving queer lit, Audre Lorde essays on bridges between worlds. I traced parallels to us, fragile spans over chasms. Hunter's gifts arrived unannounced. A sketchbook from an art supply run, pages thick and inviting. A mixtape USB, Springsteen mixed with Hozier, tracks labeled, for rainy nights. Each one a tether, pulling against the fray. Friday, Tyler sprung a surprise. Tickets to a Sounders match, section packed with scarves and chants. Bro night, he declared, high-fiving us both. Hunter's enthusiasm flagged, crowds meant caution. But he went, arm around my shoulders in the stands, a drunk lean, cheers masking the press of his thigh. Halftime, beer-fueled, Tyler wandered for nachos. Hunter turned, mouth crashing mine in the rose shadow. Desperate, hidden. Need you, he breathed, hand fisting my jersey. Adrenaline surged, but so did fear. Eyes everywhere. Post-game, buzzed and buoyant, Tyler suggested afters at a dive near the stadium. One more, come on. The bar was a haze of neon and sweat, jukebox blaring Tom Petty. Hunter stuck close, but drinks loosened guards. He flirted back at a waitress's wink, laughing too loud, eyes darting to me apologetic. I slipped out for air, alley cool against flushed skin. Hunter followed minutes later, pinning me to the wall. Sorry. Force of habit, playing straight impacts. His kiss was apology, deep and devouring, hands roaming urgent. Stop apologizing, I gasped, nipping his ear. Just be. He stilled, forehead to mine. Trying. God, Finn, you're undoing me. Back inside, Tyler's waiting, eyes sharp. Everything good? Yeah. Hunter lied smooth, but the air soured. Home late, Tyler crashed, but Hunter lingered in my doorway, shadows long. Tonight, too close. What if? We'll handle it. I pulled him in, door clicking soft. Lovemaking was slower, reverent. Kisses like communions, bodies mapping forgiveness. Afterward, he traced my ribs, voice muffled in my neck. Love this. Love. You. The word hung, unfinished, a cliff edge. I held breath, heart soaring. Yeah, me too. He smiled into skin, sealing it silent. But mornings erode. Saturday, Tyler cornered Hunter in the kitchen. Voices low, edged. I caught fragments from my room. Vibes weird, bro. Just hanging. Laughter forced, but tension coiled. That night, betrayal brewed. Tyler's girlfriend visited, Lila, sharp-witted with Portland ink and a laugh like bells. Dinner was lively. Pasta, wine, stories swapped. Hunter charmed, but his foot hooked mine under table, anchor in chaos. Lila noticed, teasing Tyler. Your brother's got that quiet hot thing. Tyler rolled eyes, but later, post-goodbyes, he pulled me aside in the hall. Hunter seam. Off to you? Distracted. I shrugged, throat tight. Work stress, probably. He nodded, unconvinced. Yeah, just Watch out. He's got a trail of hearts behind him. Guilt twisted me, the latest casualty? Bed that night, Hunter sensed it, holding tighter. What's wrong? Tyler's sniffing. Truth half spilled. Feels like lying to him. Hunter sighed, fingers stalling. I know, but coming clean could break him. Us. We argued soft. My push for honesty, his plea for time. Give me a week. Talk to mom first, ease in. I relented, but resentment simmered. Sunday brunch at a Capitol Hill cafe, avocado toast and mimosas, turned pivot. Tyler invited a friend. Cole, barista from his shop, easy smile and broad shoulders. Flirtation sparked immediate. Tyler's laughs louder, touches lingering. Hunter and I exchanged glances, the mirror to our hidden dance. After walking home, Hunter's hand brushed mine accidental deep. See? He's happy. Don't want to steal that light. But envy flickered. Tyler's ease, out and unburdened. Evening shattered it. Tyler, tipsy from mimosas, crashed early. Hunter and I on the balcony, city pulse below, shared a joint. His rare vice, smoke curling like secrets. High softened edges, truths tumbling. His college hookup with a teammate, buried under shame. My Tacoma ex who ghosted post-family dinner. Kisses followed, heated against glass doors. But midway, phone buzzed. Riley voicemail. Saw your Insta. Seattle, huh? Room for old times. Hunter paled, deleting it frantic. Nothing. Swear. Jealousy flared, irrational. Then why keep her number? Habit. Clean up tomorrow. I stormed inside, door slamming soft. He followed, pleading in whispers. Finn, trust. Trusts earned. Words venom, born of fear. He recoiled, hurt flashing. After everything? Silence stretched, fracture widening. He retreated to couch, back turned. Morning brought Cold War. Tyler sensed, asking over coffee. You guys fight? Nah. Hunter lied, eyes avoiding mine. Just guy stuff. Work dragged, me shelving with shaking hands, him ghosting texts. Evening. Reconciliation brewed. Flowers on counter. Wildflowers from a market stall. Sorry. Note read. You're it. Heart thawed, but caution lingered. Midweek. High tide. Hunter's crew wrapped early. He showed unannounced at bookstore. Leaning in doorway, tool belt slung low. Lunch. We ate at the park. Benches slick with mist, sandwiches from a truck. Talk mended. Vulnerabilities aired. Promises renewed. No more exes, he vowed. Just us. Kisses in the trees, hidden and hot. But Tyler's suspicions peaked Friday. Home early, he found us. Hunter's hand on my waist in kitchen, mid-laugh. Time froze. What the hell? Tyler's voice, door still open. Hunter sprang back, face ashen. Ty, it's not. Save it. Eyes on me, betrayal raw. Finn? Him. Words tumbled. Hunter's pleas, my defenses. But Tyler stormed out, door slamming thunder. Silence deafened. Hunter sank to floor, head in hands. Told you. Broke it. I knelt, arms around him. We'll fix. But fracture ran deep, blood seeping. The apartment turned mausoleum after Tyler's storm out, the slam echoing like a final judgment. Hunter paced the living room, phone clutched white-knuckled, dialing Tyler's number until it went to voicemail. 5 times, 6, each beep a deeper cut. Come on, bro. He muttered to the empty line, voice cracking on the edge of panic. I hovered in the kitchen doorway, arms wrapped tight around myself, the wildflowers from yesterday wilting in their vase like our fragile peace. He needs space, I said softly, though my own chest ached with the lie. Space was a luxury we couldn't afford. Not with Tyler holding half the lease on our lives. His hurt a mirror to the one I'd inflicted on my family years back. But Hunter shook his head, hazel eyes wild. The bruise from that first night faded, but his resolve cracking fresh. No, I gotta explain. Make him see it's not dirty. It's real. He grabbed his keys, truck roaring to life in the lot below, leaving me alone with the ghosts of half-eaten dinners and unspoken vows. Hours blurred into night, rain resuming its assault on the windows. I texted Tyler, apologies layered like onion skin, no demands. Nothing. Hunter returned past midnight, soaked and hollow-eyed, collapsing onto the couch without a word. He's at Lila's, he finally rasped, staring at the ceiling cracks. Won't talk, says we're freaks. The word landed like a slap, echoing the slurs from Tacoma taunts, the sideways glances at Pride events. I sank beside him, hand tentative on his knee. He doesn't mean it. Shock, that's all. Hunter turned, face inches from mine, anguish carving deeper lines. But what if he does? What if I turned our blood into poison? His hand captured mine, grip desperate, and we clung there. Two men adrift in a city that swallowed secrets whole. Sleep evaded us both that night, bodies entwined on the couch for comfort's sake. His heartbeat a erratic drum against my chest. Dawn crept in gray, bringing coffee and resolve. We face it together. I insisted over mugs, steam curling like question marks. Hunter nodded, but doubt shadowed his nod, the fighter yielding to fear. Tyler returned midday, duffel slung over shoulder, eyes red-rimmed but steel-hard. Need to talk, he announced, dropping the bag by the door like a gauntlet. We gathered in the living room. Me on the armchair, Hunter on the couch's edge, Tyler pacing like a caged wolf. Start. Tyler bit out, arms crossed. How long? Hunter swallowed, voice steadying. Couple weeks. Started innocent, talks, hikes. Then, more. His gaze flicked to me, softening. Fell hard. For real. Tyler's laugh barked bitter. Fell? Into my best friend's bed? While crashing on our couch. Hurt twisted his features. Betrayal layered with something deeper. Like grief for a brother remade. And you, Finn, knew I was right there. Lied to my face. Guilt surged, hot and familiar. I wanted to tell you, but we were scared of this. Of losing you. Losing me? He stopped pacing, facing us. You already did. The second you chose secrecy over blood. Hunter surged up, hands out placating. Ty, listen, it's not about choosing. I love you, always will. But this is part of me, buried since college, but Finn dug it out. Made me whole. Tyler recoiled, face paling. Whole? By screwing around behind my back. The slur slipped again, unconscious venom, and I flinched, old wounds reopening. Stop, I interjected, rising. It's not screwing. It's love, messy, yeah. But honest now. He rounded on me, eyes flashing. Honest? You two giggling in corners, touches I ignored 'cause I trusted. And now? My home's a lie. The room spun, accusations flying like shrapnel. Hunter defended, voice rising, defending us, his bisexuality a shield-turned sword. Tyler countered, tears streaking. Dad would roll over. Expected better from you. That broke Hunter, shoulders slumping, fight draining. Dad's gone. Can't haunt us forever. Tyler grabbed his duffel, heading for the door. Maybe not. But you two? You're ghosts now. The slam reverberated, final as a verdict. Hunter crumpled, sobs racking silent. I held him, rocking on the floor, our tears mingling salt and rain. He'll come around, I whispered, mantra against despair. But inside, fear rooted. Had we shattered irreparable? Days dissolved into limbo. Tyler sublet a spot at Lila's. Texts curt. Need space. Rent's yours. The apartment echoed empty. Couch bare without his sprawl. Kitchen silent sans his playlists. Hunter threw into work. Dawn to dusk halls. Returning bone-tired. Collapsing into my arms. Nights, we'd make love fierce. Reclaiming, reaffirming. But afterglow soured with worry. What if he outs me to Mom? He'd murmur into darkness. Or the crew. Job's all I got. I soothed with touches, truths. Then we build new. Together. But my own fractures showed. Calls home dodged. Dad's voicemails probing. Heard from Tyler? Everything okay? Son? Lies stacked. A tower teetering. Week 2 fracture deepened. Hunter's ex. Riley. Escalated. Texts turning calls. Voice syrup sweet. Heard you're in Seattle. Let's catch up, old times sake. He showed me. Deleting. But paranoia crept. Was Tyler feeding her ammo? One night, post-argument over nothing. Dinner cold. Tempers short, Hunter snapped. Maybe she's right. Maybe this is a phase, and I'm dragging you down. Words gutted, sharp as Tyler's slurs. Phase? After everything. I shoved up, storming to balcony. City indifferent below. He followed, pulling me back. Sorry. Scared. Losing him. It's like losing half myself. We made up there. Against railing. Kisses salty with tears, bodies urgent under stars. But seed planted, doubt. Insidious. Midweek turning point. A letter slid under door. Tyler's handwriting, blocky and bold. Coffee. Neutral ground. Saturday. Hope flickered. Fragile. We prepped like trial, Hunter rehearsing words, me scripting empathy. Cafe on Queen and plush booths, espresso hum. Tyler waited, coffee cold, face gaunt. Thanks for coming. Hunter started, sliding in opposite. Tyler nodded curt. Had to. Lila's tired of my moping. A beat. Missed the place. Mississippi normal. Not gone, I said soft from my stool. Just evolved. He eyed me wary. Evolved. Cute word for betrayal. Hunter leaned in. Hurt you. Own that. But hiding hurt more me Finn. Couldn't breathe. Tyler's fingers drummed mug. Knew you were bicurious in college. Joked about it. But this, with him, feels personal. Not about you, Hunter pressed. About me finally living. Tears welled, Tyler's, unexpected. Dad pressured you, man up, provide. Thought I helped carry that. Now, feels like I failed. Hunter reached, hand hovering. Never. You're my anchor, Ty. This doesn't change blood. Permission granted silent. Hands clasped across table. Talk flowed then. Raw, ragged. Tyler's fears of losing family twice over. Our promises of inclusion. Doors open, I added. When ready. He nodded. Tentative. Maybe. Slow. Relief washed, but scars lingered. Tyler's hug goodbye stiff. Eyes avoiding deep dives. Home, euphoria crested. Hunter lifted me spinning, kisses peppering face. We did it. Lovemaking followed, celebratory. Slow dances of limbs, whispers of forever. But bioluminescence fades. Next day, Hunter's crew buzzed, rumors, whispers. Brooks batting for both? A fight erupted, fists, accusations, leaving him bruised, job teetering. Told Tyler in confidence. He confessed ice-packed, eyes haunted. He must have slipped to Lila, maybe. Betrayal's echo, doubled. I held him, fury simmering. We'll fight. No. Defeat waited. Maybe. Space. For all. Panic clawed. Don't. We just. He cupped my face, tender. Love you, Finn, but can't drag you through wreckage. Argument raged. My pleas, his resolve. Door closed soft that night, couch his exile again. Morning. Note on counter. Ballard. Need to think. Back soon. Gone. Apartment hollowed anew. Days stretched barren. Text sparse. Miss you. Sorting head. I worked numb. Sketches turning dark. Twisted oaks. Fractured skies. Tyler checked in. Awkward. Heard. Sorry. Olive branch, but Hunter's silence screamed. Week's end. Breaking. Call at 2 a.m. Hunter slurring bar. Alone. Come get me? I did. Rain-lashed drive to a Fremont dive. He slumped in booth, eyes glassy. Riley showed. Stirred shit. Said I'm confused, you'll bolt. Jealousy, grief. Believe her. No. But doubt lingered, kiss tasting ash. Home he crashed hard, on my bed this time, walls down. Fight for us? He mumbled waking. Always. Dawn sealed it, bodies reaffirming. But storm clouds gathered. Tyler's full return loomed. Mom's visit announced. Pressure built, fault lines straining. The air in the apartment thickened like Seattle fog in the days, leading to Mom Brooks' arrival. Every creak of floorboards a reminder of fault lines still shifting beneath us. Hunter and I navigated the minefield with cautious grace. Mornings tangled in sheets, affirmations whispered against skin, but afternoons pulled him to job sites where whispers followed like exhaust. Tyler's reintegration was a slow thaw. Tentative dinners where laughter edged in, apologies layered like varnish over cracks. Still weird, he'd admit over beers, eyes flicking between us. But family adapts, right? We clung to that adaptation, evolution, framing our love as a bridge, not a breach. Yet doubt lingered in Hunter's quiet hours, his gaze distant over coffee, fingers tracing the bracelet I'd returned, now looped on his own wrist. What if it's not enough? He'd murmur, voice low when Tyler stepped out for smokes. The crew's circling, jobs drying up. Mom, she'll see right through. I cupped his face, thumbs brushing stubble. Then we show her truth. Unarmored. His smile ghosted, brave but brittle. Yeah, unarmored. Evelyn Brooks arrived on a Greyhound from Portland. Mid-40s with Tyler's lanky build softened by years and worry lines. Silver threading her dark hair like warnings. She hugged fierce at the door, scent of lavender and home-baked bread. Eyes sharp as she pulled back, scanning us. Boys, missed this chaos. Dinner was potluck. Her famous lasagna, layered with ricotta and regrets unspoken. Table talk danced light, Tyler's shop dramas, my bookstore quirks, but undercurrents pulled. Evelyn's gaze lingering on Hunter's bruised knuckles. The way his hand found my knee under cloth, subtle anchor. Tyler filled silences with jokes, but tension hummed, a wire pulled taut. Post-meal, dishes sudsing, she cornered me at the sink. He's different, she said, voice pitched for two. Lighter. Because of you. Heart stuttered, caught but kindly. Trying to be. For all of us. She nodded, drying a plate slow. Good. He's carried too long. Deserves drop the load. Relief bloomed, but Hunter's confession came later. Balcony lit, city sprawl below. Evelyn sat between us, wineglass cradled. Spill, son. Portland whispers reached me. Crew talk. Riley's venom. Hunter tensed, my hand in his a lifeline. Words tumbled halting. Bisexuality unearthed. Love for me a revelation. Tyler's hurt a casualty. Evelyn listened, tears silent, hand on his knee. Oh, honey. Dad knew, saw it in your sketches, the way you'd watch those boys at the lake. Feared the world'd grind it out. Revelation cracked him, sobs raw, her arms enveloping. Proud, she whispered, of the man, not the mask. Tyler joined then, doorway shadow, joining the huddle. Forgiveness flowed tear-streaked. Sorry for the leak? Lila pried. I cracked. Hugs mended, blood reknit. But external gales howled. Hunter's foreman called next morn. Whispers turning shouts. Need to step back. Liability. Job axed, pride severed. He spiraled quiet. Resumes fired into void. Bar stools calling. I found him one dusk. Slumped at our old dive. Glass half empty. Can't build if they won't let me. He slurred, eyes hollow. Pulled him home, sober with coffee and truths. Then we rebuild together. Art co-op, teaching crews your way. Doubt ward hope, but seed took. Calls to unions, my sketches pitched for murals. Tyler chipped in shop connections for freelance. Weeks wove resilience. Hunter's first gig, eco-build workshop, sharing stories sans shame. Dates public, Pike Place hands held, hikes unchained. Tyler softened fully, wingman grins at bars. Climax crested autumnal. Family dinner, Dad and Mom Harper invited. Tacoma Drive, awkward bridges. Table tense. Dad's gruff probes, Mom's probing smiles. Hunter's hand in mine under table, steady. Toasts turn tide. Dad's halting. Son's happy. That's the win. Hugs exchanged, walls tumbling. Winter deepened our roots. Apartment upgrades. Tyler's room swap for privacy. Hunter's tattoo added. Not intertwined with waves. Unchained, scripted subtle. One rainy eve. Balcony perch. City lights fractal below. Remember the hook? Hunter murmured, lips to temple. Doorway dare. I laughed soft, turning in arms. Best storm. Kisses deepened, world fading. Love, we'd learned, wasn't absence of fracture, but mending, graceful. In Seattle's embrace, we stood whole. Truer selves, compassion's quiet fire. Freedom not given but claimed line by line, heart by heart.